Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with Trek. Big shout out to everybody that is tapping in on this beautiful Sunday. Per usual, on Sundays, we like to play catch up for all the brand new fam that is just subscribed to the channel. So I got one brand new episode on the front, and then we got a classic on the back, to catch everybody up. And if today is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, join the iTrack fam if you're not already a part of it. Now let's just jump straight into it.
This is insane. AI-powered self-driving police cars are officially here. Miami just rolled out the first ever autonomous patrol vehicle in the United States, and it doesn't even need a cop behind the wheel. It's called the PUG, short for Police Unmanned Ground Patrol Partner, a Ford Explorer-based robot police cruiser built by Policing Lab and Perron Robotics. This thing can patrol high-crime areas, it can scan license plates, it can detect stolen cars, and even launch a drone into the sky, all while feeding real-time data back to command centers. It's packed with thermal imaging, 360-degree cameras, and an AI that can recognize patterns, identify suspicious activity, and alert human officers when backup is needed. Officials call it a force multiplier, designed to enhance officer safety and free deputies from repetitive patrol work so that they can focus on human interaction. Now, for now, it's part of a one-year pilot program in Miami-Dade, where it'll appear at public events as police gather community feedback. Now, some see this as the future of law enforcement, others as a step toward sort of RoboCop territory, but one thing is for sure, Miami's newest recruit doesn't eat donuts, doesn't take breaks, and never blinks. The age of AI policing has officially begun.
Now, you had to have known this was coming, but you know what? Some police are sweating it right now because they now see that they can get replaced too. No breaks, no overtime. Yeah, sweating.
You see what's going on in Nepal?
But nobody knows what's
Nepal felt threatened because they felt like the youth was going to organize against the government, so they shut down all social media, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. And you know what they did? They burned the governmental house down. They killed the prime minister's wife. They overthrew their government, and they just reinstated a new prime minister. An entire country overthrew an oppressive government. They don't want the people to see that that's possible, and regardless if that's
wow.
Yeah, go look this stuff up. The Nepalese government was completely overthrown by the youth, who have elected a new prime minister on Discord.
Now, Nepal knew this was coming. That's why they try to wipe out all the social media. But when you're doing wrong by the people, it's a matter of time before something like that does happen.
You're prepared for a world where a robot checks you into a hotel, as well as having robots walk up your driveway to deliver a package? Meet Figure 03, the latest humanoid robot launched by startup Figure. And this isn't just another lab prototype. This is designed specifically for businesses and homes. The robot is powered by Helix, which is Figure's own vision, language, and action model, allowing it to see, communicate, and take action. The robot can learn directly from humans and adapt to new tasks. At home, Figure 03 is covered in a soft, washable fabric, and it can charge by just stepping onto a charging pad. Right now, Figure 03 can load the dishwasher, put away toys, fold towels, and many more capabilities are expected to come soon. Robots are on the way. They really, really are. And I know that may be tough to wrap your head around, but it's the reality. Follow me for more AI news.
Now, I'm going to be honest. The more I see it, the more I kind of warm up to the idea of having a robot, clean my house and do the dishes and all that. But I don't want AGI. I think AI will do just fine. You know what I mean? Because if you have a robot with the AGI, that means they're constantly learning. They're constantly becoming smarter than you by the day.
There's a cave in England that anything you put in there will turn to stone. I'm talking purses, teddy bears, even a bicycle turned to stone. People swear that it's cursed. This is Mother Shipton's cave. And just outside of it is this statue right here. A statue of Mother Shipton that's been petrified. Here's the thing. Mother Shipton was not just some creepy legend. She was England's most famous witch/prophet. Some of the things that she predicted: cars, planes, the internet, and the end of the world. Mother Shipton lived by the river.
New hybrid species are popping up because of climate change, and they are wild. Just recently in Texas, a birdwatcher spotted a grue jay, a cross between a blue jay and a green jay, for only the second time ever. It's remarkable because blue jays and green jays split off 7.5 million years ago, and usually live hundreds of miles apart. And it's not just birds. Scientists have also documented pizzly bears, a cross between polar bears and grizzlies, and narlugas, a mix of narwhals and belugas. Why? Well, rising temperatures push animals into new territories, forcing species that haven't met in thousands or even millions of years to collide and create these new hybrids.
I've seen a blue jay, but never seen a green jay, so that's pretty interesting actually.
We just got a brand new trailer for a Chris Pratt movie where he has to prove to ChatGPT he didn't kill his wife. This thing looks insane. The movie is called Mercy, and it takes place in the distant future where we have eliminated the court systems and now use AI to determine whether a person is guilty or innocent of a crime. If you are suspected of a crime, you are given 90 minutes to ask the AI any question and let it show you anything from cameras, phone records, and any evidence involved with the case to prove you didn't commit the crime. And once the 90 minutes are up, you are given a percentage with how guilty you look based on the evidence, and if you hit anything above 92%, you are then killed on the spot. It's kind of an insane movie. It's even crazier because it looks like Chris Pratt's character is actually the inventor of this AI judge. So it makes me wonder if in the movie part of the twist is that he was framed just to see if its AI works or it's rigged and will just find anybody guilty. I don't expect this to be a masterpiece. It does have a January release date, and sometimes that's a sign that a movie's not that great, but low-key seems kind of like an interesting premise, and with how cliche AI is sometimes used, I think this is a fun premise for movie speaking wise, so I'm gonna give it a shot. But what do you think? You think you could outsmart ChatGPT, or are they locking you up once they see that search history? We know what you're looking up, buddy.
Now, for everybody that's going along with the whole predictive programming theory, this is pretty creepy right here. I mean, I wouldn't want to try to go up against ChatGPT or any kind of AI that's going to predict my fate.
I expect some really bad stuff to happen because of the technology, which also has happened with previous technologies. And I think
all the way back to fire.
Yeah.
There are more words in one cell in your body than you would find in 200 years of the Sunday New York Times. Wow. Where does that come from? Nature cannot produce information. It can produce patterns. I live in Houston. If I go down to Galveston and the beach and the sand is wet from overnight, and there's ripple marks in the sand. It would be logical for me to say the waves made those ripple marks in the sand because nature can make patterns. But if I'm walking down the beach and in the wet sand I see John Loves Mary with a heart around it and an arrow through it, I wouldn't say, oh, the waves made that. Why? Because that's information. And without an exception, whenever we see information, whether it's a painting on a cave wall, whether it's a computer code, whether it's a novel, whenever we see information, there is always an intelligence behind it. Stephen Meyer, with a PhD from Cambridge University on origin of life, interviewed him for my book, Is God Real? And he looks at every alternative explanation. None of them hold water. The only explanation is there must be a creator who in a sense signed every cell in our body. He left behind instructions, written instructions, 4-letter chemical alphabet on how to build you.
I hear something really kind of weird.
I'm begging for it.
All right. There's a group of people that built an exact replica of the Ark of the Covenant. It took them 3 years to make. The chief architect chooses to remain anonymous. So they put the Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible, in the Ark of the Covenant. They just did that. And he said, quote, when that Torah was put in this Ark, it became weaponized. This was probably the strangest part of this whole story. Do you know where this replica of the Ark of the Covenant was for 8 months before they brought it to Israel?
Antarctica.
Trump's house. Mar-a-Lago.
No joke.
It was in Trump's house for 8 months before it was brought to Israel. I don't know what to make of it. I truly don't care how anyone voted. Just looking at face value, that's strange.
Oh, that's 100%.
In Japan, they invented this jelly water. It looks like a clear block of jelly, but is made almost entirely of water. Instead of drinking, you slice it into cubes and eat it. It's a refreshing way to enjoy water, almost like eating your drink.
Japan is just undefeated when it comes to that kind of stuff, man. I'm telling you, some of the coolest stuff comes from over there.
Infinity is so much weirder than you think it is. If our universe were infinite in size, which it very well could be, that means that every possible configuration of matter must exist somewhere. This means that if you traveled far enough, you would find an exact replica of our Earth with an exact clone of you watching this same video, except maybe in this world, the Epstein files did get released. I mean, it sounds impossible. Not the Epstein files bit, but the fact that there are multiple copies of you out there. But that's just the nature of infinity. See, take the number googolplex, for example. It is so large that if you tried to just write it out in a font size as big as protons, you would not have enough space in the observable universe to finish the first 1% of its digits. Googolplex is huge, but still, it's 0% of infinity. Now we can utilize the concept of infinity with the Library of Babel, where every book is literally a random assortment of letters and characters. Now what are the chances of you opening a book and it happens to be your Year 6 report card? It's impossible, right? No. It's just highly unlikely, but this library is infinitely large, so every possible combination of letters and characters must exist somewhere, including the script of this video. They even have the photo edition where every pixel in the image is a randomly selected color. Now if everyone in the world clicked through one of these images every second for the lifespan of the universe, we would still likely never find any meaningful image. But that's not infinity. Given infinite time, every photo must occur, including photos of myself that don't even exist. And this is why infinity is so counterintuitive. I mean, it doesn't even make sense to say infinity is large. It transcends the idea of what it means to be big. Yeah, but aren't some infinities bigger than others? Oh god, yes, okay, you're correct, but I'm not answering that right now. But I'll tell you what else is infinite in nature, is the bottomless doom scrolling you're doing right now. It will never stop unless you force it to stop. So take this as a message, end it here, and get the off your phone.
What terrifies me is that Sam Altman has figured out the perfect hype-inducing rhetorical hack by beginning every statement he makes with the phrase, "What terrifies me."
The stock market dropped $1 trillion today. China announced yesterday that they were restricting the export of rare earth metals. This was a huge deal because they control roughly 80% of the entire world supply, and those materials are sorely needed for industries like AI and computing. Trump announced that he was going to retaliate with tariffs this morning, which tanked the entire market. He later solidified those threats with an additional 100% tariff on Chinese goods. There's a lot of buzz online about insiders making trades to profit all of this news before it officially came out. Because this morning, people built huge short positions, hundreds of millions of dollars, which are now billions in profit. Rare earth metal stocks have already gone up several 100% this year, but they're likely to continue to go up as long as this trade war escalates.
And that major drop in the stock market really just shows how powerful money is. Because there are some people that became extremely rich, but that power of money caused some people to take their own life, which is very wild. It's very wild. It's just an imaginary currency that we gave value to, but some people place so much value on it that it overpowers everything else. So it's pretty wild.
My hot take on AI is we were not made in God's image, but we so wanted there to be a God, we made one in our image. So if you think about the attributes of AI, it's all-knowing, all-powerful, can perform miracles, it lives in a cloud. Sorry, is that God or AI?
Wow. You ever notice how time flies faster the older you get? It's not age, it's repetition. When every day looks the same, your brain stops recording memories. Routine compresses time. That's why years start to blur. You think time's speeding up, but you're just doing nothing new. Change the pattern, alter your routine, try new things, and you'll feel alive again.
Now, he wasn't lying about that. I was just saying a couple of days ago that time is just speeding up like crazy, but am I the only one? Let me know. Is time speeding up for you, or is that not the case?
These are words that are quietly disappearing. So more than 15,000 English words have dropped in usage by over 80% in recent years as vocabulary shrink, with surprising words like eggcorn and fern being phased out and replaced with more urban vocabulary, and the words hack and impact for being overused in previous decades. The word brabble has been replaced by words like squabble and bicker to describe small arguments, and the word groak is almost extinct, which means to stare silently at someone while they're eating, hoping to be invited to join them. That's a sad one to lose. Lunting is disappearing, which means walking while smoking a pipe, likely thanks to the decrease in pipe smoking, and crapulous too, which means feeling ill as a consequence of eating or drinking too much, as people will now just say that they're feeling crappy. Even the word the has seen a modest decrease in usage as articles are becoming less colloquially used in favor of shorthand language. But by far the largest shrinkage of any word in the English language is happening to the word ultra-crepidarian, which is defined as a person who gives opinions and advice on matters outside of their knowledge. So rest in peace to these words. You hate to see it.
Hey, those words must have been phased out way before I even went to school, because I've never even heard the vast majority of what he was just talking about. I mean, and don't lie, don't cap. So I know you haven't either. If you have, let me know. Put it in the comments, because I'm pretty sure you haven't either.
How much Bitcoin should I buy if I want to be a millionaire in 10 years?
In 10 years, the whole market should be worth 100 trillion or more. If I put 10 grand in, it's worth 250,000. So if I put 40 grand in, it's worth $1 million. But Bitcoin is not necessarily the fastest horse in the race. It's the least risky. Could Ethereum, Solana, or a mix of those do that faster? For sure. I've seen people go from 10 grand to a millionaire in less than a year. How I would do it is like, let's say you've got the 10 grand, put 5 grand in Bitcoin, and then figure out, can you take some speculative risk with the rest? So you can't nuke yourself because you've still got 5 grand in something more secure. If you get 100x return, change your life.
Here's what being fat was like in the Middle Ages. Now, you might believe that obesity is a modern issue, but it really isn't. There were plenty of overweight people during the Middle Ages. Back then, body fat meant different things depending on who you were. For knights, it was bad news. They were supposed to be lean, athletic, and ready for war. But for kings, a lot of them were plus-sized. Charlemagne had a gut, William the Conqueror couldn't fit in his coffin, and Henry VIII got up to 400 pounds. For peasants, a round belly meant that they were doing well. And for women, a little bit of size was ideal. So yeah, being fat meant a lot of different things.
These circles are actually not moving. If you put your fingers or your hand in the middle of the circles, you will see that they're actually not moving at all. They're literally just sitting in place. It's literally just your brain tricking you.
Hey, now that's not cap. I put my finger there and it didn't move. But your eyes literally will make you believe that they're moving. Try it yourself and let me know if it didn't move for you.
Here's some of the most anticipated face reveals that I'm sure you've never seen. So the Wendy's logo was actually based off of this photo of the original founder's daughter when she was 8 years old. He loved the picture so much he made it his company's logo, and this is what she looks like today. This one when Susan Calpain actually voices Alexa.
My name's Susan, and I'm the voice of Alexa.
And watching her talk and hearing it never stops being weird. Master Chief's adult face hadn't been shown in over 20 years until he did a face reveal on the first episode of the Paramount Plus series. The voice of Siri did a face reveal back in 2013.
And I'm a voice actor and the original voice of Siri.
Where she said she didn't even know she was Siri until she got an iPhone 4S one day and heard her own voice. Apparently she did voice work with a company called GM Voices and had no idea they were working with Apple. Seeing the fact that Rey Mysterio looks like this under the mask still always feels illegal. Kenny from South Park barely ever shows his face, but he actually did a face reveal in 1999 at the end of their first movie, and this is what he looks like. And in the game Mario and Sonic at the Olympic, Shy Guy's mask falls off to reveal that he doesn't even have a face.
Is there any evidence that our planet was designed?
Oh, abundant evidence, so much so that our planet is often called a Goldilocks planet. You know, we live in the habitable zone of our solar system. That's the right distance from the sun so that liquid water can exist. That's essential for life. We have the right mix of gases in our atmosphere. We have an axial tilt, which gives us the progression of seasons as the Earth orbits the sun. We have a spin rate, which is just right. If we spun much slower, we'd have long, hot days and very long, cold nights. If the Earth spun too quickly, we would create destructive winds, gale force. We have the right magnetic shield around the Earth, which protects the Earth from cosmic rays. The probability of all those conditions arising is astronomically small. So that screams design.
This guy has the best memory in America, and I can prove it. Wesley Twiggs just won the USA Memory Championship. It's a wild event where competitors have to memorize all sorts of different things. In the last round of this year's competition, 3 finalists were given 5 minutes to memorize the order of 2 full decks of cards. One at a time, they had to rattle them off in order with sudden death elimination until Wes was crowned the champion. It's not just in the US either. Last year, the International World Memory Championships was won by a 14-year-old girl from Mongolia. In that same competition, a woman from China correctly recalled 660 numbers in order. So, how do they do this? Most intellectual athletes claim the trick is to associate things with different images in your head. For instance, if you were trying to remember my name, Mike, you might try associating your memory of me holding a microphone. I can even help you with that. How much could one person even remember anyway, though? Well, if you think of your brain like the storage on your phone or your computer, some experts estimate that the average human can store 2.5 petabytes of data. That's 2.5 million gigs. Put that in perspective, that's enough storage space to record 300 years of continuous video. And I thought Kai Cenat streams were long.
For instance, I could tell you honestly that I think there is only the present. Ever only the present.
past and future are fictions. And then you would say, well, then Bernardo is not a time realist because he denies past and future states. But then I will go ahead and say, I think past and future states are identical in kind and ontologically to present states. The past is not any different than the present. If the present is real, so is the past and so is the future. And then you might say, well, but then you're not a time realist, so you're contradicting yourself, right? Now let me show you how I'm not contradicting myself. I think what we call the past are memories experienced in the present. What we call the future are expectations experienced in the present. Therefore, past and future are present. And therefore, they're no different than the present.
Yeah.
And yet, there is only the present. You see?
Yeah.
But we get muddled in the way we use terms. And then we create these divisions where there may be none.
You know what? He just made a whole lot of sense because the only thing that's tangible is the present. You know, we hold on to thoughts of what happened in the past or what went on in the past, and there's nothing tangible about that. Even the future, you know, we have vision boards to hold on visions of what we would like to see for the future, but it's not exactly tangible until it becomes present.
The scary thing is that this actually will happen in about 7 billion years from now. Don't worry, no one's going to be around to see it. There won't be trees, there won't be grass, there won't be people around anymore. Life on Earth will only exist for about another billion years or so. Because what's happening is the sun is getting hotter and hotter, and it's going to get so hot to the point that in about 7 billion years, it's basically just going to explode, and then that'll be it for Earth. So you're about to witness it right now. The end.
Can you name the only 4 animals that choose to hunt humans?
Okay, are any of them bugs or spiders?
No. Like hunt and kill.
Lions don't do that.
Lions do not do that.
Bobcats. No. What's a lynx?
No.
Other humans?
No. Animals, like not humans, that try to actively, they choose to hunt humans. They would like to eat humans.
Sharks?
No, they don't try to eat humans. They try to eat seals.
Bears?
Okay, which kind?
Polar bears.
Polar bears are one of the 4 animals.
It's a cat, isn't it?
Yes.
A puma?
No.
A leopard?
A leopard. Polar bears, leopards, one more cat, the main cat.
The main cat.
Besides the lion.
The tiger.
Tigers, leopards, and polar bears are 3. There's one more, not a cat.
So if they see humans in the forest,
they sometimes choose to hunt that human.
That's crazy.
So we got to stay out of the jungle. You want the continent? We're going to Africa.
We're going to Africa.
And they stay in a body of water that looks like this.
The Nile River.
The Nile River.
One of the few rivers that run south to north.
And what animal is it?
The crocodile.
The Nile crocodile.
Yes!
Polar bears, leopards, tigers, and specifically Nile crocodiles are the only 4 animals that choose to hunt humans.
Are wealthy people happier than poor people?
Wealthy people are less unhappy than poor people. That's how it works. And remember, those 2 things are separable.
And so have you ever thought about going out and trying to make the most amount of money possible to make yourself slightly happier?
No, so that actually doesn't work. What you find is that when you get above levels of poverty, then you're starting to wipe out avoidable sources of unhappiness, like preventable diseases and caloric deficits and not having enough education, living in a dangerous neighborhood, you and your kids. And one of the mistakes that people make, by the way, is when they're moving from young adulthood into middle adulthood and they're getting a little bit richer, they notice that they feel better about their lives and they incorrectly feel that money's buying happiness and they chase that for the rest of their lives, and that's a mistake.
Now, he wasn't lying about that, because you'll go from having like real petty problems, right? That you might be able to bounce back from rather quickly, to you get a little bit more money. Now, the problems that are associated with that little bit of money is not so easy to bounce back from and might set you back a whole lot.
Think that the health problems in the United States are caused by food dyes. A lot of these food dyes exist in Europe just under different names. One of the big ones people talk about is red dye 40. I totally love the idea of more exercise and eating clean and eating whole foods, but taking the dye out of Cheetos is not going to solve America's health problems. It's such a small thing to focus on when there are so many bigger issues in health.
How much money every year does the IRS collect?
10 billion.
Higher.
20 billion.
Higher.
300 billion.
Not even close.
80 billion.
Way higher.
Higher than billions. $2.7 trillion.
Higher.
$6 trillion out of the taxpayers' pockets every year.
Pretty close.
$2 trillion.
Even higher than that.
Wow, I should know this.
1 trillion.
A little higher.
$5 trillion.
Correct. $5 trillion.
$5 trillion. Whoa.
Wow. Can I have some of it?
Elon Musk, he has no noise. He does not deal with noise. He is 100% signal 24 seconds, every cycle. I mean, the guy is just 60 seconds of every minute, 60 minutes of every hour. The 18 hours he's awake, it's all signal. And look what he he's achieved. Now, that's very awkward for him socially, because noise is dealing with your family sometimes, or noise is saying hi to a friend, or noise is listening to some doom scrolling on, some social media app that just takes your mind, or maybe playing your guitar. But very few people on earth, and if you go back in history, you're going to find out that the geniuses of their time were close to 100% signal.
Now, he just explained exactly what it takes to be on that level of success. Most people couldn't stomach blocking everybody out. Elon Musk does not have a typical family time. He doesn't sit at home and watch, cartoons with the kids. He probably sees them, here and there, but that level of success isn't for everybody.
A company called Ultimate Fighting Bots just built Fight Club for robots. It's basically an underground fight club based in San Francisco where robots fight each other. The robots are fighting in a cage, but they're being piloted remotely by humans. It was founded by Michael Cho. He's also working with 2 Stanford grads, Xenia and Vitaly Bulatov. They've already gone viral for the first 2 events they hosted, and they've been covered by the New York Times. They just hosted their 3rd event, and it was Berkeley versus Stanford. It pains me to say this, but Stanford won. It's actually pretty cool. Each of the robots has their own name, costume, and backstory. For example, there's a robot called the Disruptor. It's a hyper robot that wears a hoodie and apparently dropped out of school. Aside from entertainment, the club was designed to support robotics research, data collection, and AI evaluation. It utilizes an incentive system through the BitRobot network, which is a crypto-powered platform that rewards people for sharing data and helping advance robotics. It has the potential to become a massive part of the combat entertainment market. There's not that much information available about the investors or who's involved, but the account on Instagram does follow Mr. Beast. I tagged them below, so feel free to check them out.
If you get pulled over to the cops, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to them. Nothing you say can help you. If they say, hey, look, why were you driving to the mall? If that answer has anything to do with a crime that had happened, even if you didn't even know a crime happened, they can use it against you. Your attorney is completely insulated from honesty. I'm not saying we're allowed to lie. What I'm saying is we're allowed to make mistakes. And if we make mistakes in our communication of the facts, then you guys are completely off the hook.
Every major airline just sold 5 billion passenger records to the government, and they told them to hide where it came from. According to documents obtained by 404 Media, ARC, or the Airlines Reporting Corporation, the data is sold from over 270 carriers and more than 12,800 travel agencies for warrantless searching and monitoring. They're selling your name, your credit card details, your full flight itineraries, 3 years of travel history plus future bookings. ARC's contract literally tells the government, do not identify vendor as the source unless forced by a court order. The Secret Service paid $885,000 for access through 2028. ICE, ATF, even the IRS, they all have access to track where you travel without a warrant, without probable cause, just because they want to. So the next time you book a flight, remember the airline isn't just selling you a ticket, they're selling you.
Yay! Oh my god, dude! I gotta go get me one of these.
You got to get that.
It's blue.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't even know what it means, but it's blue.
Blue pen.
Yeah, it's a blue pen. Do you mind it, or is it messing with the vibe?
I was taught maybe after my 3rd year that you're not supposed to use a blue pen because they can use that signature and stamping on another jersey or stamping on other paraphernalia and kind of use that and sell that. But you can't do that with a black pen or a gray pen. So watch your blue pen.
What's the most random fact that you know?
A quarter has 119 ridges.
That is a really good random fact. My random fact is that dogs have 3 eyelids.
Ew. I don't like that.
This might be the most haunting piece of art you've never seen. It's called the Round Table. 18 headless straw figures all fighting to claim a single head that rolls across a table they carry on their backs. Whenever one rises to claim it, the table tilts and the head rolls just out of reach, ensuring the struggle never ends. Above them, 3 black birds, symbols of the elite, watch silently as the chaos below plays out forever. What do you think the rolling head represents?
You know that in the 1990 classic film Edward Scissorhands, Edward only says 169 words in the entire movie.
The rarest stone on Earth is so valuable not even someone like Elon Musk could own it. This sacred relic is known as the Black Stone. Islamic tradition says it was given to the prophet Abraham by an angel. It's said the stone was once pure white but turned black after absorbing the sins of humanity. Scientists have shown interest in studying its composition, but religious law strictly forbids it.
Hey, don't make Elon cut that check.
Ever write something and you want to make sure no one actually sees it? Don't do this because they can still read through it. Instead, you want to actually write the ABCs. Now they can't read it.
Did you know that if you win an Oscar, you get this app and you get to watch every movie's on there, like ever? Really? I saw this in Jake Shane. He had Phineas on Therapist. And so Phineas and Billy have won 2 Oscars. Oh, they have? Yeah, for like song of like best song in a show, movie or whatever. And so there's this app that you get and you can, there's like all of the movies ever on it. So you can just like watch them. Isn't that cool?
Oh yeah, he's strong as bro. People think he don't push. Like I'm used to that.
Oh, he's pushing. Oh, damn, Pancho's really trying.
Come on, Pancho. Come on, Pancho. Come on, Pancho. Come on, Pancho. I ain't never gonna give up. Come on, Pancho. Come on. Oh! According to psychology, people that go silent when something offends or upsets them are experiencing a coping mechanism called emotional withdrawal. And it's not that they have nothing to say, it's that their system has gotten used to the idea that silence is better than being misunderstood.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. You know, I don't know what it is, but, you know, several of my, you know, I had a movie called Barbershop, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black White, and it was a very controversial show. And once again, they had the whole cast on, but I wasn't invited. And so I don't know. I don't know what that's
on Oprah's show.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's.
But Oprah's obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know. You know, that's something that I would love to find out, but I can't tell you, you know, if there's a single thing that I've done or said to her.
Have you noticed that it is more controversial to criticize Oprah than to burn the American flag?
Really?
Seems that way. I've never heard anybody criticize Oprah. Do you think it's political or do you think it's deeper than that? I mean, you're not like a right winger.
No.
No? No. You don't even seem that political.
No, I'm not really. I'm pretty much, you know, just want to do right by the people, you know. So if that comes through political means, that comes through the private sector, wherever it comes, you know, I'm down to work with whoever's down to do something right for the people.
So I remember reading you say something along the lines of, I didn't vote for Trump, I'm not a Trump voter. You actually attacked Trump at one point, but you were willing to meet with Trump. Do you think that crossed a line?
I think some people didn't like that, but I think it's idiotic. You know, enemies meet.
Right.
You know, they talk. I'm pretty sure there's some communication between Russia and the Ukraine right now. Somebody's on the phone talking to somebody, trying to come up with a solution. So we just got to talk. That's the only way we're going to work this out. You know, I know when the talking stops, the fighting starts. You know, a lot of people, they, you know, think I'm a, you know, Republican. I'm a right winger. Just because I was willing to speak to the Trump administration, I mean, and I was willing to speak with the Biden administration as well, you know.
You know when this gold was made right here?
When?
When a star exploded. Gold is only created when stars explode. So within nature, right? It takes extraordinary amounts of energy to make the metal. The metal is made by the universe itself to be rare.
Absolutely stunning rainbow. Do we live under a dome? Is that the firmament? Not sure.
Slope Point in New Zealand is one of the windiest places on Earth. Here, the relentless Antarctic winds are so powerful that the trees here has grown into the shape of a brush.
Hey, there's a lot of iTrack fam in New Zealand, man. I'm going to need you to tap in and let me know if that's a real thing. Because that's pretty wild if that's the case. The trees just slumped.
Let me show you some maps that taught me stuff I didn't know. This map shows how many horses there are in the United States per square mile, with the darker blue being more horses. Nevada basically has no horses at all. Fayette County, Kentucky has the most, with 55 horses per square mile. This map shows the countries that have been invaded by Great Britain at some point throughout history. Any of them in yellow have not. So, I mean, you guys, get to it. Like, just invade every single country. It might as well. This map shows the safest places if World War III broke out, which, I mean, come on. Northern Canada, Antarctica, Australia randomly on there with New Zealand. But really, is anybody safe if this happens? This is cool. On the longest day of the year in the summer around June 21st, the sun sets in Ireland before it sets in eastern Brazil. These are America's most boring cities, and Jacksonville, Florida, that is where I live. It is the worst score. I think that's unfair. The yellow area on this map is where grizzly bears currently roam actively, and the green area is where they used to roam.
Meet the painted frogfish. Unlike most fish, it doesn't rely on swimming. Instead, it walks across the seafloor using its fins like little legs. This unusual movement helps them sneak around without drawing attention. Combined with their color-changing camouflage, they're both adorable and one of the ocean's clever ambush predators.
Now, if you don't got some kind of poison, some kind of defense mechanism to help you out there, that thing is over with. It's a snack to somebody. I mean, look at it.
Fact that might actually blow your mind is that 1/3 of all of the photos taken in the last 200 years since the camera was invented were taken in the last 3 years. So, with that in mind, what do you think is the most viewed photo of all time? The top guess is usually the Mona Lisa, and for good reason. 10 million people per year go see her in Paris, and probably billions of more come across her while not in Paris. Other top contenders include Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston, and Earthrise, or any other famous photo of our planet, but in reality, the most viewed image of all time was actually taken fairly recently, only 29 years ago, by Charles O'Rear in Southern California. It was selected by Microsoft to be the default background for Windows XP in 2001, and remained the default background all the way until 2014, a period of time where Windows dominated the personal computing industry, peaking at about 80%, and it's assumed that this photo right here, called Bliss, has been seen trillions of times.
All my goals delusional, and I turn my delusions into reality.
Did people laugh at you when you were 13, 14 years old, saying you want to be the heavyweight champ?
Oh, it's not my face.
Fair point. Fair point. 13-year-old Mike Tyson beating the shit out of like 20-year-olds.
Hey, Mike Tyson is goated forever. Forever.
Because it seems like every single Starbucks location in the world is getting harassed because of all of the protesters and crazy customers in general. Starbucks is allegedly implementing new training videos for their employees, and it's actually insane. Usually they're taught to not interact with any unhinged people that walk into the store and to simply call the police. But in their new training video, they are being told to fight back if absolutely necessary. I mean, the video literally shows an employee carrying a chair as a weapon. And even though users have turned this into a joke online, it's actually pretty sad that people who are just trying to make coffee for $15 an hour are now fearing for their lives.
Hey, the people better be happy it's only chairs that they're going to throw at you. I'd have been to a few different liquor stores in LA that'd be more than happy to throw a few bullets at you. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick your poison.
Could you imagine being so good at something that scientific communities around the world, even years after your death, were conducting experiments to figure out why you were so good? That's the case for Queen's former frontman, Freddie Mercury. There is a phenomenon within the scientific community where there's certain individuals who are so exponentially better than their peers, there has to be a scientific reason for it. For example, Michael Phelps reportedly only produces half the amount of lactic acid that normal people produce. And since lactic acid contributes to fatigue, that's a pretty good attribute to have when you're in an endurance sport like swimming. And in a lot of ways, Freddie Mercury was the same way. When people say that Freddie Mercury was a really good singer, that's pretty much an understatement. Freddie, of course, had the legendary reputation of hitting a fourth octave and sometimes even five.
Evan from Home Alone has had an absolutely insane life. He started acting at just 4 years old, but had his first major breakout role in Home Alone when he was 10 years old. Despite this movie being a huge success, he was only paid $100,000 for the role and didn't receive any residuals. However, by the time the sequel came around, he was demanding a lot more money and got $4.5 million for Home Alone 2. He started a bunch of other movies before retiring from acting at the age of 14. At the age of 15, he was fearful that his parents were going to waste all of his money, so he emancipated himself and removed their names from all of his accounts. When he turned 18, he was brought into a room and handed a slip of paper showing that he was worth $15 million. This is where the trouble started, as a few years later he was arrested for drug possession. And then in 2012, this photo came out with the rumor that he was doing $6,000 worth of hard drugs every month. To this day, he claims he never had to go to rehab for drugs. He's currently dating Brenda Song. They have a kid, and at this point, he has a net worth of $18 million.
One of Andy Warhol's biggest insecurities was his hair. He had an ever-receding hairline, so then he took to wearing wigs frequently, and his biggest fear was actually that when he was out in public, someone was going to snatch the wig off, which did happen. He was doing a book signing, and someone came up and snagged one of his signature wigs right off of his head. He said it was one of his biggest fears that actually came true. This is one of those wigs.
Alex Honnold is one of the oddest guys I think I've ever met, because he does that free solo climbing on mountains all the time, where the angle's going backwards, and he's got to climb 1,000 feet while just kind of hanging on with feet toes, because like regular climbing doesn't freak him out enough. And if you talk to psychologists that really understand the human mind, most likely what's going on is those people don't feel normal life the same way that we do, and the only way for them to feel really connected and alive is to put themselves in grave danger, something that would be absolutely paralyzingly terrifying to you or me.
Yeah, that's a hard pass, like extremely hard pass. You know, you live and die die at that point.
When they were talking about the heart attack gun, you know, they brought it out in court. One of the top dudes at the CIA at the time, he's like, yeah, here it is. It's like this pistol with this big ass scope on it. It looks like a modified 1911. It's electric. It shoots dart made out of ice that we covered in blowfish toxin. After we shoot you with it, the dart melts and then you have a heart attack 45 minutes later. Isn't that neat?
Why CIA? Why do you have this? Elon Musk said that once. You get paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. The guy flipping the patties, they solve very small problems. You put a man on Mars, you'll get paid in proportion to solving that problem. So you need to focus your time, your energy, and attention to solving big problems, but you need to know where you're going.
If you take pictures of this doll, it literally says it gives you cancer. And we did that. And then I got cancer that month.
There are 10,000 handwritten letters saying I'm sorry to Robert the doll because of bad instances that happen after people take pictures.
The reason I know it's not Robert, I hope, is like I felt a little bit of pain like before going to that trip.
But like also, what are the odds?
That sounds like a case of you can mess around and find out. And I'm not too interested in finding out, man. I'll take his word for it.
1 year ago, Kanye West made history in China, selling out 42,000 tickets in minutes, in a place that banned artists like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber. China is one of the toughest countries on earth for Western artists. Every performer gets vetted by the government, and if you've said or done anything wrong, you're out. But Ye actually has a strong bond with China. Back in 1987, when he was just 10 years old, he lived in Nanjing with his mom while she taught at the local university. Then in 2008, he performed in Shanghai during his Glow in the Dark tour, his first show ever in the country. Fast forward to 2024, and Ye's return looked impossible. His controversies in the West, combined with China's heavy censorship, made approval seem out of the question. But China's economy was slumping, and the city of Haikou saw an opportunity. If they could land Ye, they could turn his concert into an economic event. And it worked. The 42,000 tickets sold out instantly, bringing in $7.2 million in ticket sales. It was so popular, they asked Kanye to do a show the next week, and again, it sold out immediately. But it didn't stop there. The two shows generated over $80 million in tourism revenue for the city as fans flew in from all over China to see him. And most Americans won't understand how rare this is. Western artists almost never get approved, but somehow one of the most controversial artists of all time, Kanye West, did. And not only did he sell out back-to-back stadiums, but he turned a concert into one of the biggest economic boosts China had all year.
And people are still wondering why Kanye is goated. There you go. Perfect example right there.
I was so high like a pelican's back. Then I saw this video. Apparently, there's some kind of, I don't know what that is, some kind of centrifugal device. Look at that.
Wow.
Is that a solar panel?
That's a drone.
Yeah.
So clearly I'm not the only one confused about that bird having a solar panel in his back. I mean, the craziest thing I've seen in a while.
This video, these people are trapped in their house because of a storm that's going on outside, and this looks like their house is literally caught in the middle of a tornado. Outside of the windows, you cannot see anything. Everything is grayed out, blacked out. Electricity is shut off. The winds are gusting. You can hear everything, and the rain is smacking against the walls. Everything is just being torn apart outside, and in the middle of it, these people just so happen to grab their phone and record everything. What would you do in this situation if you were caught up in this? It looks like they're being transported to the Wizard of Oz or something like that. This is insane. Like, what could you even do in this situation just to wait it out or just try and hide and cover the best you can? People are wondering what happened to the owners and if they're okay and what happened with the damages, but there's no conclusion video after this and they don't show the damages after. So We don't know. We can only hope the family made it out okay and that there wasn't too bad of damages. This just looks like you were being thrown into a portal or something, but it's just not a portal you want to be in. It looks like they're being transported underwater. It literally looks like the house was thrown into an ocean or a tsunami. It just looks like it's just submerged.
So the question is like, why should you care about it? And the answer is you should care about it because if everything is truly mathematical, like if the math is at the bottom of the universe, I can imagine nothing except for that being a simulation hypothesis. We live in a video game, we live in some kind of simulation that's programmed by aliens or whatever else, and I think you can choose to believe that.
It's hypocritical to live in a society that glorifies alcohol on the one hand and that demonizes psychedelics on the other. This is nuts.
Why do you think that is, though?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that psychedelics lead people to ask questions about the prevailing reality. It's as simple as that. And I think those in power knew that long ago. And they knew that psychedelics represented a danger to the established order of things, not to the individuals taking the psychedelics, but to the established order of things, that people couldn't be so easily brainwashed, that they'd start to think for themselves, make decisions for themselves, would start to question government behavior and the behavior of big corporations and the behavior of the big religions too.
Yeah,
all of these would be questioned from people who'd had deep experiences with psychedelics. So the decision was made, let's wage a propaganda war against psychedelics. Let's make people believe that these are really deadly, harmful things when in fact they're not, you know.
Now that's what I like to call the great debate, because many people do say psychedelics make you question everything. But at the same time, many people say that alcohol leads you to tell the true definition of liquid courage. But let me know your opinion on that subject.
Am I the only one who finds it really funny that the symbol for the devil in a lot of cultures is a goat? Like someone looked at a goat and was like, you sketchy bastard. There's evil afoot.
I don't know if you ever had the chance to stare a goat in the eyes, but the eyes of a goat are pretty creepy. It definitely makes you think there's something else going on.
Sharp, straight edges are unlike the rounded or irregular shapes we normally associate with natural phenomena like clouds or moonlight reflections. Online, theories quickly spread. Some argue it's a glitch in the simulation, pointing to the idea that our reality might be little more than a programmed construct. Others suggest it could be yet another example of Project Bluebeam, the conspiracy theory claiming governments plan to use advanced holograms to stage apocalyptic events. Whether optical illusion, classified tech, or something more otherworldly, the square light has viewers debating what exactly they're seeing.
The world's most stubborn person was the last thing standing in the way of a 38 billion yuan project, and to say their plan backfired would be an understatement. Turns out, testing the same contractors that will build a highway around a home or put a train through a literal building isn't a great idea. China was building a high-speed railway and was almost done with it until they ran into this house. The government successfully bought everyone else out, and this was the final home needing to be demolished. So the owner quoted a price equivalent to $14,000 per square meter. And every time the government declined, the owner raised the price. So the builders made the owner's life miserable and built directly up to the house until they finally agreed to sell at a price the government thought was fair.
What would I need to do if I want to get Alzheimer's or shorten my life as quickly as possible?
To get Alzheimer's. Okay, you're right. No one's ever asked me that question, but I can give you a 5-step program to getting Alzheimer's. Why don't we do that?
Let's do it, yeah.
And you'll be surprised to hear that your genetics actually not in my 5 steps. Right. Believe it or not. Okay, because I really believe that even if you are genetically susceptible to Alzheimer's, the chance of you being able to prevent it completely is very, very high. So I think we need to move on from my mother had it, my family members had it, so I'm destined to have it. That is absolutely not the case, okay? So the 5 steps to getting Alzheimer's starts in childhood, believe it or not. Play football, American football or, rugby, a sport that you're hitting your head over and over again at high velocities, right? That constant trauma, and not necessarily getting concussions, the trauma of hitting your head over and over again as a child and then into high school and beyond definitely sets you up for a situation where your chance of having dementia later on in life is greatly increased. Okay. Many people take that even into adulthood, playing professional sports, even riding a motorcycle and falling off, riding mountain biking and falling off and hitting your head. The amount of trauma that builds up over multiple episodes of hitting your head sets your brain up to have not just Alzheimer's, but also Parkinson's later on in life.
What if I told you that near-death experiences, reincarnation, and outer body experiences are pointing to the exact same thing? That consciousness might not be produced in our brain, but rather fundamental to our reality. Dr. Cozzolino, a professor at the University of Virginia, says that these three things aren't separate mysteries, but rather they're overlapping evidence about one deeper truth of consciousness that science is still trying to prove. In an interview, he says that research at the University of Virginia shows over 2,000 documented cases of children remembering their past lives, where some even carry strange birthmarks matching the fatal wounds of the person they claim they were. And in cases of outer body and near-death experiencers, they both say the same thing, often saying that I chose this life before I was born, and that death was a return to home, another reality that they truly belong to. Despite the language and the cultures being completely different, the overlapping patterns are striking. And Dr. Cozzolino uses the analogy of artificial intelligence. Just like how it learns from millions of different prompts and interactions, consciousness might learn through us, where every human life is like a probe, feeding the experiences back to a larger source of intelligence, where every joy, trauma, and lesson helps the system learn and grow. And if this is true, then nothing that you ever think, feel, or do is wasted.
This is crazy. Can someone explain to me how you can see this guy when you zoom in with the video camera, but then when you zoom out, that pillar is blocking the way? What is it about the zooming in that makes that pillar go away? It doesn't make any sense.
Now that is pretty interesting, but clearly the zoom just got so wide that that middle divider just kept shrinking.
The guy fell off a ladder, I think it was somewhere in the UK, and a 15-centimeter nail went through his boot. Writhing in pain. They had to put him on morphine just to get him to calm down. Brought him into the x-ray. They x-rayed the boot. Went right between his toes.
No shit.
Went right between his toes. Didn't puncture his foot at all. They needed to sedate this guy because of the pain he was perceiving.
Because of what he thought happened.
Because of what he thought happened.
That is bananas.
Oh yeah, well documented. So here, what do we have so far? We have pain in the presence of no tissue damage.
Didn't even cut him. Nothing.
But you know what? That just proves how good our mind is at creating scenarios that never happened.
Social media may be solving this case faster than the FBI. They are now saying that David had a song called Celeste. David is a famous singer, and there was a 15-year-old dead girl that was found in his car. Now, the girl's name is Celeste Hernandez. The song leaked is called Celeste, and it talks about wanting to make her his Valentine and also making her suicidal. He also had a song called Romantic Homicide, which is literally him talking about killing someone that he's in love with. Now, there's another picture that surfaced on social media, and after research, people located this that he is in Lake Elsinore. That's exactly where she is from. That exact location is 0.3 miles away from where she used to live, which is a 6-minute walk. Also leaked Discord messages and also pictures of them together. You can't see her full face, but you can see the date. It is 2023. If it is her, she would be about 12 to 13 years old in this picture, and he would be about 17 or 18 years old. They post a picture and he responds, "You are a Fed." It kind of adds up because she did go missing in 2024 when she was 13 years old, and she was recently now found dead in his car. They both have matching tattoos, and there's a lot of things adding up, and it's not looking good for him.
Now, if you don't know who that David guy is, don't worry. All you need to know is that he's cooked. Like, he was on the verge of getting to that point where everybody was going to know who he was. He was literally on tour before they found that body in the back of his car. So it's pretty wild how people can reach these pinnacles, but those past decisions, man, they will catch up with you, especially if they're as ugly as his decisions, right? It's crazy.
I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died. And I didn't even cry, not a single tear. I killed you. So it's not like the thought of her is gone by itself was something that she did. It was something that I decided to do. And I killed her in the back of my mind. It's really more of a figurative I killed you, especially in the back of my mind. I try to stress that in the back of my mind. That's why I say it so loud. In the back of my mind, you died. In the back of my mind, I killed you. So it's all in the mind because that's the most secure place you can be is in your mind. So if you can expel that thought from your mind, then everything else will just come together.
Stop the cap.
Deadly kissing bug is spreading its disease in several U.S. states, and it's spread through the bug's feces. If the kissing bug's droppings get into a person's body, it can infect them with what's known as Chagas disease. Here's what to know. According to the CDC, triatomine or kissing bugs carry a parasite that they can transfer to animals and to humans. They're called kissing bugs because they often bite people around the mouth area. They pass the parasite in their droppings after biting a person or an animal. Now, the CDC says people might scratch or rub bug feces into a bite wound into their eyes or their mouth without even realizing it, and that allows the parasite to enter their body. Locally acquired human cases have been reported in 8 states, most notably Texas, including these. It was already an endemic in 21 countries and may become an endemic here in the United States. According to the CDC, the infection doesn't transfer from human to human, but if a kissing bug infects you, you may develop fever, you may feel tired, body aches, headache, rash, loss of appetite, diarrhea, vomiting, and get this, some may even experience symptoms for years or a lifetime, which is known as the chronic phase of infection and can include heart and digestive issues. And the condition can be life-threatening. That's according to the CDC. There is no vaccine for Chagas disease, so you should protect yourself by staying in well-built places if you're traveling, use insecticides and bug spray, wear clothing that covers your skin, and by not eating raw fruits and vegetables since the infection can spread by contaminated food.
The wildest part about that insect is that it can cause a lifetime of problems. We're not talking about just like a week or two. No. You're done. You're cooked.
Y'all, is them the damn kissing bugs? What the fuck? Oh my god. Is them bugs? I just seen about it on TikTok last night. They everywhere. They coming out of the grass. Is them the kissing bugs, y'all? Oh my god, we're gonna die. Jesus help.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions.
There is an AI R&B artist who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal and has a top 5 R&B album, and the person is doing none of the work. I think you guys think that AI can just be the cover for something, which some people can use. They can make an AI cover. AI can also make the entire fucking song. It can sing the entire song. It can make the entire beat. You can have a song that's one type of song and say, AI, make this into a country song. And it'll literally rewrite, re-sing in a country voice and redo the entire thing. And they don't have to credit anyone. This is so beyond out of our control. And nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me, especially not fucking AI in the creative arts, in which people have worked hard for, trained for, slept on the floor for, fucking got injuries for, worked for their entire lives. I'm sorry, I don't respect it. Fuck.
Now, if you don't know who that is, that's Kehlani. She's been in the music business literally her whole life, right? Nick Cannon brought her into the game, raised her up. She actually has a following, so she'll be all right. But if you're just getting into the game and you're going up against AI, yeah, you definitely have something to worry about. And you can see by her body language, hand on the head. She's going through the motions. She tells you about what she went through to get to where she's at. You know, AI is coming for everybody in that way, you know, in that aspect. But I think talent in whatever field you're in will carry you through. I don't think it should be too stressed about, you know, because in her case, she can actually sing. And she actually has a fan base, a crowd, so she'll be good. But, yeah, it's something to keep your eye on.
First of all, the ancient Egyptians discovered the earth was a sphere 2,600 years ago. Actually, let me rephrase what I said. I said they discovered the earth was a sphere. They proved the earth was a sphere. Nobody could prove it until the ancient Egyptians sent a fleet of ships around Africa, and they completely circumnavigated Africa. And what they noticed 2,600 years ago is as they were traveling south, the sun's position moved from being in the southern sky directly overhead to the northern sky. And the constellations changed to constellations they'd never seen before. And then as they came around the southern tip of Africa and started heading north, the sun slowly moved from the northern sky or directly overhead back to the southern sky, and their old constellations returned. And they went, there's literally only one shape that could accommodate that experience. The Earth is clearly a sphere. Done.
This was the world's first experiment that proved traffic jams happen purely because of human behavior, with no obvious reason. If you're stuck in traffic, you might assume there's an accident ahead, but sometimes there's nothing at all. It happens when one driver brakes suddenly, causing the car behind to react and the chain continues. Each driver brakes a little more than the last, creating a ripple effect that travels backward through the traffic, causing a jam out of nowhere. This strange phenomenon is called a phantom traffic jam, and this Japanese experiment perfectly demonstrates it. At first, everything runs smoothly, but over time, tiny variations in speed and spacing start to build up. One car slows down just a little, then another follows, and gradually a wave of stop-and-go traffic begins to form. There's no obstruction, no external trigger, just human reaction causing a traffic jam out of thin air.
Now, to all my iTrack fam that are in New York and in LA, this explains why the traffic is the way it is. You know, it could just be all kinds of traffic. We're talking about hours of traffic for nothing, and that explains it.
These are entities that are here on this earth, that have been on this earth, that who knows how long, and that we think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago, but they're here and they're in these deep water areas, and that's why. I mean, like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there. Now, we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas. And so to me it just it creates a question there. And then when we have naval personnel telling me that we have these sightings and that there's these underwater craft they're chasing that are doing hundreds of miles an hour, and the best we've got is something that does maybe just a little under 40 miles an hour. So I got a lot of questions about that stuff, and I mean,
so you know that you're a psychopath.
That's a psychopath.
So if you're a psychopath, let's say you're probably in an apartment building because you're more attracted to the center of major cities where you can blend in. You're thinking, you know what? I really want fish tacos. I want fish tacos. That's really going to hit the spot right now. You get down to street level, you start walking, and you walk by this car accident that just happened a few seconds ago. This mom is maybe holding maybe a 4-year-old baby that may have made it, maybe not. She's screaming. And as you're looking at it, you take a minute and go, yeah, definitely fish tacos. And you turn and you go pick up your food. And you get home at the end of the night, and you're getting ready for bed, and you go in front of the bathroom mirror, and you find yourself standing in front of that mirror going like this, practicing all of the faces that you saw on the street from that day.
Wow.
That's how you know that you're a psychopath.
I've been telling everybody how aliens can cloak themselves with their uniforms that they wear. You have tall ones, you have short ones. Now you're going to see a video coming here of the most unbelievable thing you've ever seen. This is why I tell you, those ghost hunters are not chasing ghosts. They're chasing aliens that are cloaked. The little white spheres you see in ghost hunting videos, those are not spirits. Those are microspheres that are spying on us. They can go right through the walls, record everything we're doing, take biometric scans of us, see what we have diseases, what kind of food problems we might be having, how it's affecting our bodies. There's all kinds of things that we know in the government, what those are. But ghost hunters really like to think they're chasing ghosts. This video is going to change your mind. When I tell you aliens can cloak themselves like their ships they cloak, check this out.
For a while now, I've been putting out a trail cam at night, hoping to catch some wildlife around camp while we're sleeping. And with my granddaughter, who just loves wildlife. How cool could it be if I could show her some night pictures of what's walking around at night while we're sleeping? Now, I must admit, I haven't had any luck so far. I've put out the camera many times and never captured any footage. But tonight was different.
Did you read that study coming out of Germany about thoughts and migraines? If you didn't, this is really interesting. Different types of thoughts have different weight. If it's a big creative thought, it's heavy. If it's a deeply negative thought, it's even heavier. And that's where headaches and migraines come from. So if you don't want to get bad headaches or bad migraines, have lighter thoughts. Thoughts that won't weigh your brain down so much that it compresses into your skull. Don't think too much and your head will feel fine. And that's just science.
Well, how do I create lighter thoughts, you ask? Well, I think one remedy is acceptance. You know, you just got fired on your day off, accept it, let it go. Somebody just treated you badly, accept it and let it go. Yeah, I think that's one remedy. There's a few different remedies. If you have one, definitely let me know down in the comments.
Okay, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the news yet or not, but a bunch of people are getting these mystery seed packets in the mail from China. I've gotten 5 of them in the mail so far. I'm going to show you guys what they look like in just a second. Anyways, yeah, people are getting these and they're not even ordering them. And if you do get them, you're supposed to turn them into the animal plant service something because they're unidentified and nobody knows what they are. You're not supposed to plant them. You're not supposed to throw them away. You're not supposed to throw them in the woods because they'll grow their seeds. I'm sure you guys have already seen this, but in case you haven't, you're supposed to call the Department of Agriculture or the plant something, turn them in. I, for legal purposes, did not know this, and I planted all of mine, and some of them are already growing, and I'm kind of scared, and I'm going to show you what they look like. You're not even supposed to touch them because nobody knows what they are, but here's some of them. What is that? They look like cricket legs. Here's all of the ones I've planted so far. This one in particular is literally scaring me, giving me nightmares. It's only been a day and this is what's growing. I don't know what I should do. This is everything that happened on the news today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. Scientists just discovered a massive ocean that's beneath the Earth's surface, bigger than all the seas above land. They were recording waves and they found out that the waves were being recorded under the surface too, which is how they found this ocean. There's a whole video on my page if you want to go look. Scientists finally just revealed what the bizarre mermaid that was discovered in 1906 actually is. So this artifact was found obviously in 1906 and nobody's been able to figure out what it actually is, but it was told to be a mermaid. They just found out that it's actually different pieces of different animals just conjuncted together. And so they're going to do some scanning and see what all animals are put in together to make this mermaid. It's fake. Scientists explain why you can't ever see stars outside a plane window while you're flying. There's 2 reasons why you can't see stars while you're on a plane. One of them is because of light pollution under you, and the other is because the moon is too bright. There's a lot of news today about scientists, but scientists are concerned that California's supervolcano might erupt due to over 2,000 earthquakes in recent years. A lot of these earthquakes haven't been big enough for you to actually feel them, but there's a whole video on my page about this if you want to go look. Scientists created a device that lets you play back your dreams. This one's really cool. Basically, it'll record your sleep, and then whenever you wake up, you can watch your dreams like a movie. Self-checkout machines across the US are reportedly beginning to ask for tips. A lot of people are upset about this because why would a self-checkout machine do that if you're the one doing the work? I do these daily roundups every...
Did you know Hugh Laurie gets free Burger King? And he actually got it kind of by accident? During an interview, he just made an off-the-cuff comment about one of the great things of being a celebrity is free Burger King. He didn't actually get free Burger King at the time, but the fast food chain jumped on this, and they ended up giving him a crown card for free Burger King.
Oh, is that how that works? Well, if that's the case, you know, you guys should know I get free in and out. Like, you know, double doubles, all that good stuff. I get it for free.
Did you know that Robin Williams once got so mad with Disney that they had to send him a $1 million Picasso painting as a peace offering? This all happened when he voiced the genie in Aladdin. Instead of his usual $8 million, he settled for only $75,000 under one condition. They could not use his name or his image in the marketing, and the character of the genie could only take up 25% of the ad space. Why? Because Robin Williams had a movie called Toys coming out just about a month later. But Disney broke the deal. They put Genie all over the posters and commercials and fast food toys, and Robin Williams was furious. But after Disney broke the contract, they sent him that Picasso painting as an apology. I know it's gone up since then, but it was worth $1 million at the time. Robin got it, said he found it very boring and didn't fit in with his home decor. The fallout resulted in the voice of Homer Simpson taking over for the genie in the sequel, but Robin Williams did eventually return for the 3rd movie. He even joked about it later and said, "You realize when you work for Disney why the mouse only has 4 fingers? It's because he can't pick up a check."
I am firmly convinced that Jesus never talked about himself as God. We have the first 3 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Most scholars today continue to think that Matthew and Luke had access to some other written source of information that they call Q. Matthew has some materials not found in Mark or Luke, so they say, well, that came from some other sources, and Luke has some material not found in Mark and Luke, so that's other sources. Okay, so you have Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but you also have Q and M, Matthew's special sources, and L, Luke's special sources. If you look at all of that material, Matthew, Mark, Luke, Q, M, and L, all of our earliest sources, Where Jesus starts calling himself God is the Gospel of John, our last source. It seems to me completely implausible that 6 authors would describe the sayings of Jesus knowing that he called himself God and neglect to mention that part. Like that bit just isn't important enough to bring up. And so I think it's completely implausible.
Quantum physics actually proves manifestation works. And here's how. The superposition principle says that a quantum system exists in all possible states at once until observation collapses it into one. An observation is energy, like your focus, your thought, your intention. That's manifestation in action. And here's what's wild. Studies show athletes can train their bodies just by using their minds. Basketball players who only visualized free throws improved almost as much as those who practiced on the court. Their muscles actually fired in the same patterns. That means when you focus with intention and emotional energy, your body, your energy, and the universe are already responding as though it's real. And spirit is right there, amplifying that state that you're choosing with your focus. If this is resonating with you, follow for more.
You know what? And I wonder if that's part of the reason why we've been seeing a lot of pilots trying to fly planes drunk lately, right?
You can only be as famous as your nervous system allows.
Your nervous system is sabotaged by your creative ego because it prefers the illusion of control over your creative ambition or success. This is you. The goldfish bowl is your comfort zone. Your nervous system is very regulated when you are in your comfort zone. But your creative ambition means you want to leave the goldfish bowl and go into the ocean. So your creative ego sabotages you to keep you stuck and small, and it does this by using limiting beliefs. It tells you you're not good enough. It tells you you're going to burn out. You're going to be overwhelmed. That everyone's going to discover that really you're a fraud. And these are all the limiting beliefs it does to keep you small and stuck in your goldfish bowl. The problem is that you have no purpose in here. You have no fulfillment. You're actually creatively rotting away, and you know this. And every time you try and get out of the goldfish bowl, your creative ego sabotages you with limiting beliefs. So how do you get over this? Well, in Eastern philosophy, Taoism, Zen, Buddhism, they know that the ego is just an illusion. So you have to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. That is awareness. And that means although you will still get the thoughts, you no longer believe them. The second thing is you need a creative purpose. You have to distill your pain, your tragedy, your joy, articulate your thoughts, and through the medium of your creativity, help others, i.e. your audience, feel seen and heard. Because when you make them feel seen and heard, you will feel seen and heard, and that makes you feel good. Now, this gives you the happiness trifecta, as neuroscientists calls it, which means you get oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. This regulates your nervous system, which means that you can grow, you can expand your goldfish bowl incrementally over a period of time, because to go from the goldfish bowl into the ocean is too big a leap, right? You need to be able to do it incrementally. So this is what you do. The more people that you help, the more you will experience the happiness trifecta, the more this will regulate your nervous system, and the more you can grow. And this means that a creative purpose gives you a creative resilience, and that's what it's all about.
And to piggyback off that, get around some people that see the greatness in you. Because if you're not around people that see the greatness in you, you're probably around some people that want to keep you small and keep you in a smaller fishbowl.
Interviewed this blind girl one time, right? And we're just learning about what it's like to be blind and some of like the different stuff. And she talked a lot about animals and like getting to spend time with animals and the feelings you get. Mm-hmm. And she says that she doesn't get any feeling from a snake. Like there's no energy that she gets.
Really?
And that's when I was like, blind, don't even like a snake. I don't like a snake.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to make you feel good in your life is also inevitably going to make you feel bad, right? So like the person you marry is the person you end up fighting over. And the house you save up for is the house that you're going to have to do a bunch of repairs on. And the dream job that you go after is the job that you end up stressing over. Like everything good has an inherent sacrifice to it. You can't have the pleasant without the pain. And I just feel like everybody today wants to have it one way and not the other. In other words, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Or as I like to say, take the bitter with the sweet.
I read something the other day that was, you only overthink when you go against your intuition.
Ooh.
I thought about it.
Beautiful.
And it's true for me.
Yeah. It is, yeah. If
you know, when you're following the light and the intuition and the tug, it doesn't even have to make sense, but you're like, yes, this is what I have to do. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's almost like, a little serenity.
Yeah.
And all the times I overthink, it's because I know deep down it's not the right thing.
Yeah, like you're doing something against your nature.
Hey, she just spoke truth. When you're following your gut, life generally moves like this because you know. Now, once you move out of that know and out of that gut feeling, life is kind of like stagnant. You're guessing a lot. Yeah, she definitely dropped the gem on that one.
I saw Gary Vee say something. I hope he's wrong. He's been pretty good at predicting trends, but he said, I think my grandkids are going to marry robotic female. People in Japan already have sex with sex dolls. That's been big in Japan for 20 years. Imagine when a woman talks to you. These are species disruptors.
Within 5 years, having like drone security systems that protect and find and neutralize a threat.
You see the Tesla robot videos I have on my phone.
The humanoids, the Optimus.
This isn't 5 years away. This is fucking now. Wow. He's getting these things fucking dialed in, and you're right.
The future
and drones, the robots, all that shit is coming. Flying drones around when you're about to publicly speak is probably the best idea ever, and it's simple. Yeah. And everybody in this room can fly a fucking drone.
That is definitely going to be a game changer, but you got to look at everything in a full spectrum. So people won't be robbing your house. They're going to send robots to do it, right? So it'll be robots against robots, which might be entertaining, but very dangerous.
This guy's sister took what she thought was a cute live picture of their cat, but when they took another look at it, they saw this.
I'm home right now, completely alone besides the cat, and I just heard a full door open upstairs. And it reminded me of this video of the cat. It's actually a live photo, and I turned up the exposure here so you can see it better, but that's like a person.
A shadowy figure dashes across the doorway, and when you slow it down, you can see just how eerily the figure moves. Now, at the time she took the picture, she wasn't home alone, but she didn't see anyone while taking it, and the figure's silhouette, along with the way it moves, doesn't match anyone living in the house. So is it possible she captured a really elusive intruder, or did she somehow take a picture of something that's usually unseen?
Oh yeah, she was in the middle of a home invasion. I'm not sure if she was aware or not, but that was definitely somebody in there to rob her.
One of our best algorithms that we created with Harvard is can predict your date of death within 3 years at a 92% accuracy. Ultimately, what we do is we give you an age for your body. That is the main thing. We also can give you the age for different organ systems. So we can tell you how your brain is aging versus your lungs versus your kidneys. We also tell you how fast you're aging right now, almost like a speedometer of aging. And so all these things give us essentially the way to predict how you're going to be aging and how long your life is. A lot of people immediately go to, hey, do I want to know this information? But the good news is it's also changeable. It really empowers you to make the necessary lifestyle changes, whether it's drugs and medication, social experiences, supplements, diet, nutrition, all of these things impact this overall aging. Now that we have an objective way to measure it, trying to figure out what is the biggest mover.
The Mayo Clinic did a study. In 2017, they took 286 patients with various diagnoses, and they took the first diagnosis and then they had a second doctor do a diagnosis. Only 12% of the time did they match. That means 88% of the time, the first diagnosis and the second were different. As a result, the Mayo Clinic says you should always get a second opinion, and they believe getting a second, even a third one, refines the diagnosis and makes it better because everyone's working through their perceptions. It's not, we think of medicine as like black and white, it's right or it's wrong. And it's a lot of art in medicine. And people don't realize that.
And you know what? There were no lies detected there. A lot of doctors nowadays in 2025 are using ChatGPT and Google to kind of decipher what's going on with you. So he definitely wasn't lying. Get a second and third opinion about whatever you got going on for a fact.
The video shows an employee working behind the bar of the restaurant, an establishment housed in a building dating back to the early 1900s, when a large frame suddenly flies off the wall. As it falls, it knocks down several nearby items, creating a clattering mess. According to the OP, staff and guests alike have previously reported odd experiences in the building.
You can go from failure to success, but you can't go from excuses to success. You can't do it. It's not possible. So don't even try it. When I see a person making excuses, I want to walk in their life, say, my name is John, I'm your friend. Let me explain something to you. That's a dead-end street. You can't excuse your way out.
Right.
You can adjust your way out. I mean, like failing forward is a good miss.
Yep.
because I failed, but I learned something.
And I'm farther forward than
I'm a little further down the road. I didn't get there.
You know what's interesting? You can make a small mistake and make it a bad miss because you make excuses.
That's exactly.
You could make what looks like a catastrophic mistake and go, there's something good here.
Yep. Well, you never know whether it's a good or a bad miss based on the failure. You know it's a good miss or a bad miss based on the adjustment. You follow what I'm saying? Yep.
In Haymarket, Virginia, apparently there's this ordinance that everybody in their city has to buy one of these town stickers. It's literally just a sticker. And he said he's going to start initiating all his officers to go around patrolling and finding all the cars who do not buy these stickers. And if you don't buy them, he's going to be issuing citations and fines, which, if you don't pay those fines, are going to be issuing bench warrants, which then eventually you'll go to jail for not buying a sticker. And what do these stickers do? Nothing. They're just there because the city wants to initiate a mandate and force a product onto the people, a virtual tax of nothing.
Hey guys, it's Chief Lands with the Town of Haymarket Police Department. Today I want to talk to my residents, the residents that live in the town of Haymarket. If you live within the limits, you are required to have a town decal on your vehicle. The police department has recently been tasked with enforcing this ordinance. You can get them at Town Hall Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. They are $15 per vehicle. The reason why I'm talking to you is you're going to see my officers out in the neighborhoods, and they're going to be enforcing this. You may receive a parking citation with the box check that said you do not have a town decal. If you don't do that within 2 weeks of receiving the summons, then we may take other corrective actions against you.
Sounds like they're trying to scrape together every nickel and dime that they can get. Talking about $15 stickers. Jeez.
That's why you got to be careful what you think about, because if you think about the past over and over again, you're re-traumatizing yourself every time you think about it. Your body thinks you're going through that situation again and again and again. You went through the experience once, it was over for all eternity, but you kept the experience alive in your imagination. We're doing that all the time.
Exactly 8 days, everyone in America will be able to see this eclipse called the Ring of Fire, and you will not see it again for 23 years. The best view of this eclipse will be right here along this green line or in any of those yellow states. If you don't live in those states, click this button right here to get a reminder to go out and look at the eclipse or to come to my live stream, because I live in Texas where I'm going to see an almost perfect Ring of Fire. However, the farther you are away from this black line, the harder it's going to be to see a total annular eclipse. Right now, if you're in that 10 to 20% region, you're only going to see a little bit of the sun covered, whereas states like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico will see almost a perfect Ring of Fire. For states that are in that path of totality, this is what your eclipse is going to look like. And this is going to happen for about 3 hours. It's starting at about 9 o'clock Pacific time in Oregon and ending at about 12:30 Central Time in Texas. So again, if you live in one of those states where you don't think you'll get to see something like this, click on this reminder right there so you know to go out and look for it, or come to my live stream where I will almost see a perfect Ring of Fire just like this.
A blind quarterback, but has dreams of one day making it to the NFL. Jason Bracey lost his eyesight at 7 years old, and at 13, he asked his dad if he could try out for football. His father told him, unfortunately, that's not going to work out. So behind his dad's back, Jason became his own agent and started calling local coaches, asking to try out and landed a spot on a team. They weren't sure how it would work at first, but devised a plan that led them to a lot of victories. His dad sits on the sideline with a walkie-talkie that transmits right into Jason's helmet. So he's telling him where to run if someone's coming for him and when to throw a pass. And Jason has spent countless hours memorizing every single play so he knows exactly where each player should be.
Now, you know you're wrong for that. You want to put a blind player on a football team, and a kid at that. You're wrong. You're dead wrong.
The place where ships and planes disappear. The Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is located in the Sargasso Sea, a triangle formed by Bermuda Islands, Miami, and San Juan. How many mystical and mysterious stories do you know about this place? The most famous incidents, like the disappearance of 5 U.S. planes in 1945, they were on a training mission and simply disappearance without a trace. The disappearance of a plane carrying 32 people to Miami. The disappearance of a huge cargo ship with a crew of 300. Nearly about 100 mysterious accidents in the 20th century. but many of them are not really credible and have no official confirmation. There are many theories that try to explain this phenomenon, such as the decay of methane hydrate at the bottom of the ocean, which forms large bubbles and sinks ships, weather phenomena in the form of powerful hurricanes, or even aliens. But let's do some math. If we take a map and plot every known plane and shipwreck for 100 years, we can see that the incidents in the Bermuda Triangle are not out of the normal and nothing extraordinary.
Do you believe is there a God? How does it work?
Yeah, we believe in one God. Okay, so voodoo is monotheistic. That is definitely a big misconception. Okay, a lot of people think that we worship hundreds of gods. I've even had people ask me if we worship chickens or goats. Okay, they ask me crazy stuff like this. Okay, well, in voodoo, you have one God and many different spirits. We call those spirits Orishas or Loas, but we understand the whole time those spirits aren't God. They're more or less like God's helpers or messengers, if you will.
Okay, so the dark web itself isn't a marketplace like what you're thinking. All right, so the black market or whatever you want to call it, once you're connected to the dark web, Tor, the onion router, what I was explaining before, you still need to know where to go to visit these horrible websites. And they're like, you know, imagine a very long string of letters and numbers, and the website, instead of .com, it'd be .onion. You can't visit those websites in a regular browser. You have to do that while you're connected to the Onion router, which you could download at the TOR's website. And then you could go to a thing called like the Hidden Wiki, and the Hidden Wiki will show you all different categories of these websites with the link to them. And there's marketplaces, there's horrible things on there, like you said, for kids. And even like murder for hire, there's counterfeit money, there's fake IDs, you know, there are all kinds of different websites that do horrible things.
What is the Onion router?
So the Onion router is a tool, an open source project that was created to anonymize your traffic on the internet. And it decentralizes, I believe decentralized would be the word for it, your internet traffic. It keeps you anonymous beyond a VPN. I would still recommend that you use a virtual private network on top of Tor if you want to be anonymous, but it's just a layer of security that's free, and it's like, for example, let's say you use Comcast for your internet service provider. They could see that you're using Tor, but they can't see what you're looking at.
You ever see this thing in person? Run. This is a cassowary, and they're known as the most dangerous bird in the world. They're found in Australia, and they are super aggressive. Not to mention, it's a big bird, but they fight like a little bird. They fight like a chicken. They'll jump up and kick you with both feet at the same time. And the worst part is this is what they're kicking you with. 3-inch razor-sharp claws. Those look like the feet of a velociraptor. It will make your insides become your outsides. Do not mess with this oversized chicken.
ICE just spent $3 million on a device that can unlock your iPhone. It's a phone hacking tool called GrayKey, and a new government contract just confirmed ICE is using it. Here's how it works. They seize a phone, plug it into this box, and it brute forces the passcode, bypassing the normal security lockouts. Once they're in, they can extract everything. Your private messages, your photos, your location history, your contacts, everything. Last year, ICE spent $5 million on this technology. This $3 million is just their latest purchase. Your phone holds your entire life, and the government just bought the key.
Here's how rich the first 5 American Idol winners are 20 years later. Last place is Fantasia Barrino, absolute flop of a career. Somehow she has less money now than she did after winning the show. She won $1 million and she only has $500,000 now. Fourth place we have Taylor Hicks. I don't think anybody in the world could name one of this guy's songs. Nobody gave him a second thought after he won the show. Somehow he still has more money than Fantasia though, with a net worth of $1 million. Third place we have Ruben Studdard. Probably the most notable things he's done in his career is have a sandwich named after him and lose like 250 pounds on The Biggest Loser, only to gain it all back. He's worth about $3 million. Second place we have Kelly Clarkson. She's had a really successful career with her talk show. Recently she lost like all the weight that she gained after the show. She's worth about $45 million. And finally, at number 1, we have Carrie Underwood, by far the most successful American Idol winner of all time. She has a ton of absolute bangers and a net worth of $140 million.
Lord
Florida schools are deploying armed drones to help with security, and people are questioning this one. The 30 to 90 weaponized drones sit in secure boxes around the school, ready to be activated whenever there's a security threat present. But they're all flown and operated by a team all the way in Austin, Texas, which are made up of drone racing pilots. Those pilots can operate drones going up to 100 miles per hour, allowing them to get across large campuses in seconds, scout hallways, feed information to law enforcement on the ground in Florida, or neutralize any threat while police are on their way. Many concerns have been raised, but 3 Florida schools will still be trialing the system this fall.
You know, it's so sad because nowhere else in the world do they need drones in their school. Only in America do you need to use drones and all kinds of different things to keep the kids safe in a school, which is crazy. You know, do even a little bit of homework. It's not happening anywhere else in the world. Only in America.
So meet Charlie Kirk. I would love to do a facial diagnosis and tell you who he is. Sadly, I have to tell you who he was. Just a horrific event that has occurred. And I think all of us, no matter where we stand, we're going to be affected by someone that has been killed in such a horrific way. This is a tough thing to read for me as a physician, but this is who Charlie Kirk was. There are 9 face shapes, and Charlie's a kind of a combination between a bucket face and a iron face. The faces that you are kind of a gift from your creator, but they come with a caveat. You must use that gift to kind of help mankind. We bucket faces, we love to put things in our bucket. We're intellectually persistent. We're thought leaders. We love the process of thinking. We're analytical. We're strategists. We're list makers. We never complete our list. He's also iron face, but more of a squareness to his face. This is the 3 S's. He's strong, he's stable, he's stubborn. Give him a job, he's going to get it done. Persevere, diplomatic, take things to the end and things he's interested in. If he's not interested in it, to heck with it. He wants nothing to do with it. So there are these facial features. We always start with the eyes, and the right eye is what we show to the world. It's our public persona, and it's our mother's influence. The left is our true inner private self, and it's our father's influence. And again, this is more just a call. Whatever I sense, I wish I could put math to this. I can't. It's just kind of what I sense. So when I cover up his left eye and just look at his right eye, what I see is someone that's very focused and someone that's very caring. Conversely, when I cover up the right eye and just look at the left eye, there's just a hint of sadness there. What's that about? Is that about a male? I don't know. I think we're going to find a lot more about him as the days unfold and more people talk about him. Eyebrows are interesting. Very, very thick eyebrows. This sign is a very strong constitution. Eyebrows are about passion, pride, temperament. So again, very strong constitution. He was given a very, very strong body. They're also low set, which means he's very willing to help others and he's easily approachable. That was his energy. He was willing to talk to anybody and everyone and never with any anger. There's just no anger on his face. I find that intriguing. Most people, there's some liver indicator, some gallbladder indicator tells us some kind of liver involvement. Hairline, very narrow hairline. How you determine that is where the hair touches the eyebrows. Mine very, very far back. His touched the eyebrows. This indicates strict upbringing. Probably had to conform to parental wishes. It's always a decision, do you want to conform or not to conform? My sense is he did conform to parental wishes. He's also got that kind of widow's peak. This is a sign of someone that's very traditional, very charismatic. And he certainly was that. I don't know much about him. I'm a generation removed from him, but his goal was to speak into the lives of younger people. And he did that in a way, went with his iron face. He did it with a great deal of passion and had a great purpose with what he did. Cheekbones, very high cheekbones. These are a sign of being high standards. Anything high in the face, just think high standards. Cheeks are rounded, which means he's very feelings oriented, sensitive. He's very big hearted, but also very confident. Cheeks are about confidence. And when you see these cheeks that he has, a very confident young man. Nose, very narrowness to his nose. This indicates kind of a narrowed outlook. These people tend to be very conservative with money, but conservative in general. And of course, he was to the conservative side of the fence, which offended a lot of people, actually. This nose also indicates that he valued ideals over things. He put great emphasis on things that he felt were very, very important. Chin is very strong. Chin's about being strong-willed, and he was very strong-willed. People with this chin, everything they do it with purpose. It's also rounded, which means there was a warmth and kindness when people have these round chins, as opposed to a square-off chin. They're very straightforward, or somebody with a narrow chin, they're very, very sensitive. But he was very warm, kind, very generous, very intuitive, but also a strong sense of family. This indicates an extremely strong sense of family. Also very supportive kind of individual. So that is Charlie Kirk. And I'm sad for what has happened here.
Intuition test. Can you guess the forest animal on the back of this card? Close your eyes and take a breath. Go with what appears to you. Take your time. This one is challenging. Here we go. A fox.
Hey, I'm starting to feel a type of way now. I thought it was a grizzly bear. A brown grizzly bear. That's what I saw. Let me know what you got. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, big shout out to everybody tapping in on this beautiful Sunday. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Join the iTrack fam if you're not already a part of it. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.